Grady and Big Joe Show. Talk sports at 239-1070. Or email us, GradyandJoe@1070thefan.com. Now, here's Michael Grady and Big Joe Stasiak.
And good morning. Grady and Big Joe Show. Mother Nature not cooperating with training camp. Big Jose at the MS Worldwide headquarters.
Man, it's another soggy. I mean, it rained almost, not real bad, a couple of things here and there, but like pretty much just all day yesterday, just one of those days. Same thing today, just kind of gray and a lot of rain. Now, we were way short, so, I mean, that part's good. But, yeah, if you're out of training camp, indoor facility, and it's good protocol just to remember. If you do go out there, again, it doesn't cost you anything, but you need to go online to get your tickets or whatever. They have an indoor protocol that as soon as you get out there, find the folks involved, and they'll give you wristbands. So the first 500 people will automatically be given seats inside. And this is if they call it, before it happens. Like we found out last night that the rain, there wasn't going to be a fan zone and everything because of the rain. And so you can get in line and then you get a wristband, then you can get in and watch inside. So that's pretty cool. Now, if they would have some kind of some storm that came through in the middle of practice and lightning and that kind of stuff, then they just run over to the facility. They go in and they continue practice, and then you just go home. They don't have that. Then that'll be closed to the public. So just so folks know kind of how that's going to work out. But gotcha. Yeah, so they knew about it. So they're inside. I mean, it's great. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to slow anything down. A lot of things going on. Austin Howard's back today, so off of the non-football injury list and practicing this morning. So that's good.
There we go. That's
what you want to hear, because I'm a little disturbed about that whole 15 linemen and only 8 are practicing stuff. That's concerning a little
that's
bit.
That's not good.
That's where you're trying to get all your leadership to come from there. The big, the nasties, the whatever else. That's where you want the leadership to come from. And when half your guys, including your best guy, isn't even practicing, it's kind of tough. But, things are steadily getting better. Don't panic about it or anything yet. But no, there's some concerns as far as trying to get that group to gel and all that. Right. They're legit. And who the hell's playing your right tackle? That's the other thing. Biggest thing to me. Who is your right tackle? Who's it going to be? So, with Austin Howard out there, at least, he and Denzel and, Braden Smith, the second round choice, will get plenty of opportunities to work in there. Mewhort, he'll go in and he'll play some tackle if he has to. But I just hate to see these guys all out of position this quick. I want to get them a position, get them to learn it, and then move around a little bit during camp. But as long as all the work gets done and you get AC in, I'd like to see Anthony in by this weekend, just so he's all ready to go for Seattle on Thursday, because I want that best offensive line we can put together in front of Andrew for that first preseason game.
Yeah. We talked about this as far as continuity is concerned. They added another tackle yesterday in practice. They released, waived injured another offensive lineman yesterday, so added one today, or late yesterday. So I continue to tweak things. It's unfortunate the guys are hurt. It's a hamstring for Costanzo, and while we haven't heard a timetable, like you just said, sooner rather than later, please.
Yeah.
We want that continuity, please. So we'll talk more about that as the show goes along. A lot of stuff to get into today. Kenny Moore, one of the cornerbacks for the Colts, is going to join. We had an offensive guy last time. We'll have a defensive guy who kind of turned some heads last season, who has a lot to prove this upcoming year. Him and Nate Hairston will be kind of battling for the kind of slot nickel spot during training camp, and so we'll talk to him about that battle, because he's not only battling the wide receivers in practice, but he's also battling, the cornerbacks, and trying to secure his spot on this team as a second-year player. And speaking of DBs, we had a conversation yesterday, and we really didn't put like the top memories of the last 10 years in order, did we?
I don't know.
I gave my personal number one.
Yeah,
but it wasn't so rock solid that you couldn't convince me to change it to two other moments. The Kansas City comeback or the win over the Broncos to go to the AFC Championship game. Like, I can be persuaded to go that way also. Mm-hmm. But for me, number one, was that 2009 against the Patriots, big comeback in the fourth quarter, 4th down and 2, and you get a big stop, and then a few plays later, Peyton Manning throws to Reggie Wayne for the game-winning touchdown. The play that set all of that up was, Kevin Falk, and we've seen this many a time, Joe. Kevin Falk catching the pass out of the backfield from Brady, making a couple of moves and turning a 1-yard play into a 5-yard play, a 2-yard play into a 6-yard play. That's his MO. That's the Patriots' MO, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, high percentage. First,
Yes.
you can't get the first down if you don't complete the pass. So,
Right.
So, let's not keep it simple. Let's at least make it a high percentage throw where you can get the guy. And Kevin Falk is fantastic at that. And that's one of the things that the Patriots are really good at. They find guys that will take care of a niche, and they'll have a niche, and then they'll find that guy, and he'll be awesome at it. And Kevin Falk has made a living in the NFL doing things just like that.
Yes. I know he's not in the league, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was still in the league.
Yeah, he made a living in the league a long time doing it.
Right.
He's got a lot of rings.
Yes, you could be 50 years old, catch that. Herschel Walker will argue he can still be in the league making that play. So it looked like a routine play for the Patriots. And look, we know how the play ended, but how devastating would that have been from our perspective and reflecting on that game? Maybe it would be a forgotten game, but man, they went for it on 4th down and they got it against the Indy defense.
Yeah,
that would have been bad in hindsight. But
especially knowing what a competitor Peyton is, and was,
to not give him a shot.
I think if they would have made it and gone on, I think it would have just kind of got lumped into all those beatings you took from New England. But instead, it turns out to be maybe the biggest game in the last 10 years.
And the guy who made that stop was Melvin Bullitt. And a safety who had to step up because Bob Sanders was so oft injured. And Melvin, in a short amount of time, I think it was maybe 4 years or so in Indianapolis, made quite a name for himself as a guy who was tenacious, but a guy who also had some injuries himself. But I will always remember him from that play, and he's going to join us in about 3 minutes.
I think that game he had a shoulder injury and played through it.
I feel like he had a shoulder injury his whole time in Indianapolis, but for sure on that, he may have separated it on that tackle. For sure. But he, Bob was irreplaceable, but it says a lot that if Melvin was out there, I think as Colts fans, we were like, okay, we wanted Bob, we really wanted Bob, and Melvin's first year was right after the Super Bowl season, but I think it says a lot for the way that Melvin Bullitt played, Joe, that, it was like, okay, it's a drop off, but it's not because obviously Bob was a defensive player of the year, but you get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Him and Bethea had a damn good year.
Or Bethea.
Yeah. It's Bethea. I don't care what he says.
I don't care what he wants to be called.
Right. I don't care what the guy who has that name says.
It should be pronounced.
It's Bethea.
Well, the funny thing is, Bob Sanders was just he was one of the most unique players ever in the NFL. To wrap that little body. That little huge body. He's an oxymoron. That teeny tiny little guy in this mammoth Marvel, superhero body kind of thing that he had. This mentality that I will crush anything in my way. And then to see him off the field and how he interacted with, what was the story about his neighbor? The little old lady, his neighbor, and how I think he had her in for a game or something. I mean, he's just like the most kind-hearted guy. He's exactly what you want as a football player. But again, it came in a package that you're scratching your head a little bit. Like, can this guy really, number one, hold up? But can he really be that big of an impact with that small of a size? And so anytime you look at that, and that's why Melvin's like, I can't compete with that. I'm not that short. I'm not built like that.
Right.
But so Melvin actually had the body of more, like your prototypical safety, and he had the mindset too, because he was a smart kid. And like you said, I don't know if I ever went in that locker room and saw him, and I can't remember what the heck they call that stuff on that they put on that shoulder, that tape kind of stuff. But I don't know if I ever went in the locker room and saw Melvin where he didn't have that shoulder kind of all taped up. and it just didn't matter. He's a football player, man. You suit up, you go play, and it doesn't matter who you're filling in for or whatever. When you're called to make the play, you make it, and that's why we got Melvin on the line right now.
Let's play the play real quick. 2009 Colts 8-0, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere around there. The Patriots were 6-2, big 4th and 2. Everybody's flabbergasted that the Patriots are actually going for. They think maybe they'll try to draw the Colts off sides. No, they actually ran the play, and here's Bob Lamy's call.
Moss comes right, and Brady out of the gun. I don't know. I don't either. Now Falk comes over as a wingback to the right. Brady has emptied the backfield. And Company snapped. He's going to throw it. Brady throws it upfield. It is short of the first down. It is short. The Colts take over at the 29. If that spot is right, it'll be Colts ball at the New England 29. Yes. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is with 2 minutes to go. The Colts will have the ball at the New England 29-yard line.
Can you just play the very beginning again?
The pre-snap?
Listen to Bob Lamy's voice. His voice is the audacity of the Patriots. That's how it said. Real quick.
Moss comes right. And Brady out of the gun.
I don't know.
I don't either.
Let's welcome in Melvin Bullitt. Let's welcome in Melvin Bullitt right now. Melvin, appreciate you coming on with us. What was going through your mind as the Patriots line up on that 4th and 2 play?
Man, we were shocked because the play before, Gerard Powers broke up a pass on 3rd down. So, we're running off the field thinking they're about to punt. I take my helmet off. I look over, and they're like, hey, they're going for it. And then there was no thinking. We just get straight on the field, and we're like, hey, we get this stop. The game's over because we're going to score.
Did you have the same feeling, like the audacity? The audacity.
At that time, you don't even really have that kind of moment. You're just in the huddle. And, we had probably the best leader I've ever been around with Gary Brackett. He's in the huddle. He's like, look, this is what we make a stand right here. This is what we do. So we got in there, and as soon as he went motion, I knew the play. Our coaches, they had prepared us. I knew he was either going out. He definitely wasn't going inside. As soon as they threw it, man, it was just perfect game preparation.
Hold on, Grady, one more time. Say that again, Melvin. The coaches had you prepared. You knew exactly what was going to happen.
That's great.
Oh, man, it was a different time. We had, our coaches, they really had us prepared. As soon as Kevin Falk went in motion, I knew that it was a quick out. That was one of their go-tos that season when they went empty. And it was just crazy, man. Like I told you before, when you go empty, you don't have much time. And you got Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney on the edge. You don't get the ball out quick. So that's just kind of the preparation we had knowing before each play.
What were the emotions like earlier in that game? Because you obviously knew how much the fan base, everybody hates the Patriots. It was a big game. You guys were undefeated. What were the emotions like when they jumped on you early?
I'll say being down 17 in the 4th quarter does not feel good to the Patriots at home. But, you know what I mean? It's like, damn, man, we gotta do something. But it was just crazy. That honestly was one of the most fun games I've ever been involved in, including all the playoffs, Super Bowl, all that. Because it was just, the team that that you're compared to the most. And you're at home, you're down, and you're talking about true adversity on the football field. That's pretty much what it was, and we came out on top.
Hey, Melvin, what was it about the Patriots that made them that good? Is it kind of like you said, the preparation that the coaches get you in? Is it the ability of a guy like Tom Brady? Is it just guys that all know the roles and they fit well together? What is it?
I think it's honestly, it's the system, man. It's never changed. It's been consistent, and unfortunately for us, now we got the right guys in there running everything. But it's just the consistency that they had, that Tom Brady has. That's what we had at one point. Every game, the preparation. You never saw a team that was just unprepared. And that was two teams that were always prepared. And when you have two teams like that, you're going to see classic style games. And that's what we saw consistently.
What were your memories like at that time with the Colts? And we'll get more into 2009. And we were joking yesterday. You could probably write a whole book on that 2009 season.
Oh, man, that season.
What was it like?
It was crazy, man. Going into the season, being named the starter. Unfortunately, with injuries of Bob, but just having my number called, and then on top of that, performing well and just the run we were on, and at that game being undefeated and having it, at a chance being taken away, and just coming through. That's one of those seasons that you'll never forget. Just the whole run, the whole city, everything about it was just awesome.
I'm sorry, Grady, I got to jump on it. The 17th of December, you guys win in Jacksonville. You come and you have a touchdown in the fourth quarter to win that ball game. You get to 14-0. Then coming up, you got a 500 Jets club and a below 500. I think Buffalo at the time was like 5-10 or something when you played them. Those are the only two games left on the schedule. You are 14-0. And you got a 500 club and a sub 500 club to go to get to that perfect season. What's going through your mind at that point?
Man, the one thing that when I first came in, I was blessed enough to be under Coach Dungy. He said, "Great leaders know how to follow," and we knew that Coach Caldwell had our best interest in mind. The whole organization had our best interest in mind. And people didn't know how banged up we really were, and that rest really helped us throughout the season. Don't get me wrong, there was nothing more that I wanted was to play. But in the best interest, we had so many guys that, right after the Super Bowl had different surgeries that it did make sense. Now, if I could go back.
That's right. Keep it real.
I want to get on the field. But, at that time, I'm a captain. You got to be a leader. It's like, hey, let's go out here and we want to play. So we prepared as if we're going to play, but Coach makes a call, and whatever call Coach makes, you just got to roll with.
Did you guys know during the week that you would be pulled at some point?
We had a feeling. Coach made us aware of it. We had a good feeling. It's not something that we'd like, but it's not something we're going to argue about or even question. It is what it is, and I think that's what made us such a good team. Is like what said went, and that's just the way it works. So. Man, it was one of those games that sucks because as a competitor, you never want to come off the field. I mean, if you can just watch my style of play, even when I got hurt, no matter what, I always made sure I was able to come back. But you don't get this this doesn't last forever.
Melvin, you never get this opportunity. You were chasing perfection. I'm pissed off about this. I can't believe you aren't.
I still am, man. I still am. But it's. At the end of the day, if you're a true professional and you're a true leader of your teammates, and you got a coach that you respect highly, you're going to do exactly what they say, and you're going to do it to the best of your ability. And you're going to hold your head up high and talk about it the right way. That's one thing that I really enjoyed about that team.
It says a lot about that team. It took years, for guys to speak a little bit more openly about, how much it did hurt to not go for perfection. But at the time, everybody, stayed professional, and you guys, made it all the way to the Super Bowl. It wasn't as if you lost focus and then lost in the first round. You guys, guys stayed together. We were just talking about the jubilation of the Patriots win. What was the mood like in the locker room? I think from a fan perspective, a lot of folks felt for, Curtis Painter. After the Jets game. What was that mood like? Was there
once I was done perfection? It was a wrap. There wasn't even talking about it. And then you got to remember your teammates that you practice with every single day that are out there in your place. You're wanting them to succeed. You're wanting them to do well, and you believe that they can win. That wasn't the case at that time. But once the game was over, it was over. We knew, hey, that this whole perfect season thing is over with. We need to prepare for the playoffs, and we need to get guys that potentially may have to play ready the next week. I wish to my heart every day that we'd have been perfect, because I've been one of the few guys that have been perfect in this league. But it didn't happen, man. So,
I mentioned this question yesterday. Again, Melvin Bullitt, former Colts safety, had great years with the Colts, joining us on the Payless Liquors hotline. Losing a Super Bowl hurts. That's an excruciating feeling to lose in a Super Bowl. Would it have taken any of the sting off of it if you guys knew that you were one of, a couple of teams to go undefeated for an entire regular season? Or would it have hurt just the same?
Losing the Super Bowl is the worst. I don't watch the Super Bowl that well. Only thing I do is eat when I'm at now.
The commercials.
I just eat. I watch the pregame, and I judge who's going to win off the pregame. When Philly came out this year, I knew they were going to win the game. It was just inevitable. They were so fired up. They were so ready. I feel like the Patriots were kind of entitled to being there. And sometimes that you can get that feeling, and it kind of showed a little in that game. You know, a hungry team, they left nothing out. They did everything to win. But yeah, nothing replaces. I don't know the feeling of winning a Super Bowl. All I know is losing one. So I'm bitter every Super Bowl Sunday. So when you think Super Bowl Sunday, just think how bitter I am.
Hey, Melvin, I was involved in a game, the AFC Championship game. So this is way before you got here. But the Colts, we had Cordell Stewart running out of the end zone that game. Aaron Bailey almost catching the pass. Quentin Coriat drops an interception. I was the exact same way. Never saw any of it until they finally did, 10, 15, 20 years later, they did one of these things, one of the greatest game kind of thing. And I went and I saw it, and I felt so bad because I blamed Quentin Coriat for dropping an interception that never got to him. The kid just made the defensive guy just made a great play. And I'm just wondering, does Hank Baskett ever come to mind?
Oh my God! Don't get me started, man. Don't get me started, okay? I don't put words on me. I've never been that kind of guy, but you're gonna throw it out there. I'll say this. This is all I'm gonna say. Damn. That's what I'm leaving, and you take it from there.
Wow! Before we wrap up, Melvin Bullitt again, kind enough to join us. What do you reflect on most fondly of your was it 4 years? I know it was 2007.
5 years.
5 years with the Colts. What do you take away from that experience? You're in Texas now. What do you take away and reflect on fondly from your experience here in Indianapolis?
Just, man, the city of Indy itself. I'm in Texas. Dallas Cowboys fans are a lot different. I just feel like Indianapolis Colts fans are so much more genuine, man. I used to walk in the grocery store. I wouldn't get hounded. I'd be like, hey, Melvin, have a great day. Good luck this weekend. Hey, go get him next time. And just the friendships that I built, and the leadership that I learned from guys like Gary Brackett, Peyton Manning, Antoine Bethea, all these guys that were so awesome, that are true leaders. And it showed, and then from the coaches that we had, they're just unreal. And it showed in their personal lives as well. And that's what I try to model my life now after sports, was what I do. So, man, I take all that with me. Indy's like a second home to me. So I can't wait to come back and visit. If I do, you guys got to let me on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, we'll get you VIP out of camp. There's VIP sections at camp. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Man. It's hard when you got two kids. I got a son that's 5 years old and a daughter that's 2. And, man, they drive me crazy. Football.
Hey, tell us what you're doing. Tell us what you're doing now in Texas.
So
what's
now
keeping you busy?
I got a sports training facility, man. It's awesome. It's catered to youth athletes. My whole goal is to do the best I can to get athletes to experience what I did by earning a college scholarship. If not, just being a better person. We run select volleyball teams, flag football, select basketball, performance training. We train professional athletes. I mean, we do the whole nine. It's awesome to be a part of. You guys want to check it out, go on Facebook at the Bullitt Experience. And yeah, man, it's just pretty cool. I want to give people the chances and opportunities that, Bill Poley and Coach Dungy gave me.
Good for you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Melvin, we really appreciate you coming on. We've been celebrating the 10-year anniversary, man, and your play was one of the biggest in the last 10 years for the Indianapolis Colts. Really appreciate you coming on and hope to get you on again soon.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be one of the biggest for the next 30 years. We'll be talking again soon, guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Melvin.
Thanks so much, brother.
All right, man.
Appreciate it. That's Melvin Bullitt there on the Payless Liquors hotline. How classic was that?
He just moved past Warren Sapp. He moved past. Think of some of the outrageous things that were just said on this that have been said on this show over the 10 years of having this station, and that is our automatic top 3.
That is fantastic.
That was therapy right there.
Damn. That's what I wanted to hear. Chasing perfection,
Damn.
everything else. No, he blames Melvin Bullitt. Or he blames Hank Baskett. That's, wow. He's holding on to it.
Hold on. He didn't blame Hank Baskett. He just said he didn't blame him. That's not the headline. But, damn. That says it all.
I think we'll replay some of that later.
Absolutely. Quick timeout. Going a little long in this segment. Back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. This is the Grady and Big Joe Show.